This is the beluga. It's the world's biggest freshwater fish and among the largest carnivorous fish on the planet.
The beluga whale?
That was a beluga sturgeon, not to be confused with the beluga whale.
So it's this fish then?
Yeah, this is the beluga sturgeon, officially known as a huso.
So is huso the genus and the species?
Yep, there's actually just one other species in this huso genus, and that's this beluga.
They sound pretty similar.
Indeed, both of them are very closely related and they're very similar. Unfortunately, both of them are critically endangered.
Are there any other fish in this family?
There are. Here you've got the bastard sturgeon. Like the Kaluga and beluga, it's critically endangered. And here's the Atlantic sturgeon as well, which is also a member of that same family.
The beluga sturgeon is found in the Ponto-Caspian Sea area, the largest body of inland water in the world, comprising of the Caspian Sea, the Black Sea, and the Azov Sea. As you can see, the beluga is also urea-line.
What does that mean?
It means that the beluga swims back and forth between freshwaters and estuaries.
The beluga also has the ability to thrive in any temperature.
The beluga is a poikilothermic and ectothermic species that relies on its surrounding environment to regulate its body temperature and functions. It slows down its metabolism during colder months and becomes more active during warmer months. This is a crucial adaptation of the beluga, which helps it survive in its environment.
The trophic level of the beluga sturgeon is 4.
What's the importance of that?
As adults, the beluga sturgeons have no natural predators, but during their infant stages, they are prone to predation by crayfish and other medium-sized fish. Overall, they are near the top of the food chain in their ecosystem.
Well, what exactly does a beluga sturgeon eat?
The young feed on invertebrates. Their diet enables them to grow quickly, and once they are 8 to 10 centimeters, they begin eating fish. As adults, they eat any large fish, mollusks, and crustaceans that they can find.
Here, the beluga sturgeon is eating some small fish.
The beluga sure eats a lot of different things. Are there any special features that allow it to do so?
A structural adaptation of the beluga is its wide mouth. They have these mouths to accommodate to their large bodies. Rather than just the usual zooplankton and smaller animals, their huge mouths enable them to eat a variety of different foods. They're one of the few fish to eat other small fish.
What about other types of adaptations?
A physiological adaptation of the beluga sturgeon is countershading. Their ventral side is a whitish yellow, while their dorsal side is a gray-green hue, as you can see. This helps them blend in with their surroundings, and it makes them less visible to others. The ventral side mirrors the sunny sky, while the dorsal complements the dark seafloor.
Interesting. Does the beluga have any behavioral adaptations as well?
A behavioral adaptation of the beluga is that after hatching and maturing a little, it leaves its birthplace in the estuaries towards the ocean. Once the females are ready to conceive, they make their journey back to the same place to lay eggs.
Why is this the case?
Sturgeons take a while before becoming sexually mature to reproduce, so the babies must develop for a while before being released to the world. By growing up farther away from the ocean, they can achieve this.
This fish is amazing, but I wonder how they reproduce.
Belugas reproduce like most fish. The female lays her eggs in an area that she prefers, then the males come there and fertilize the spawned eggs externally. In fact, they have actually evolved some behavioral adaptations that allow them to reproduce better.
Interesting. What are some of these adaptations?
The fish have habits adapted to the Danube River that allow them to reach the exact place they want at the right time. They usually spawn at 100 to 1700 kilometers upstream, as seen here on the map. The red bar is the highest upstream it goes.
That's a long journey.
That's exactly why they have adapted to start going upstream at the end of fall, swimming through the river during winter. Then they finally lay their eggs during spring. By taking their trip during winter, they can make sure their eggs will have a higher chance of survival because they won't have to suffer through the cold.
Are there notable adaptations?
Yes, the female fish can reabsorb the eggs if it so chooses. They usually do so to put the eggs in a better spot.
That's cool. Around what age do they reach maturity?
The female beluga sturgeons reach sexual maturity at 16 to 22 years old, while the males reach maturity at 12 to 16 years old, and they usually spawn every 5 to 7 years.
Beluga sturgeons seem to play a critical role in the ecosystem. What do they eat?
Beluga sturgeons primarily eat smaller animals such as fish, mollusks, and crustaceans. This is important because it keeps the food chain in order.
That's interesting. So where do they sit in the food chain?
Beluga sturgeons are very high up in the food chain. They feed on some of the most prominent fish, and without them, there would be a surplus of those fish that could completely disrupt the entire ecosystem.
But I've also heard that humans are a factor of the species extinction because of caviar.
That's correct. Beluga caviar is made from the sturgeon's eggs and is considered a delicacy. Unfortunately, this has contributed to the near extinction of the beluga sturgeon, as their eggs are highly valuable and sought after.
However, due to the attractive prices of this caviar, this places detrimental artificial selective pressure against females.
Interesting. How does this happen?
Much of the illegal poaching specifically targets females since they are the most profitable.
What impact does that have on the species as a whole?
Artificial selection of males over females makes the population disproportionately male. For obvious reasons, this hinders reproduction. This unfortunately caused this species to be critically endangered.
Besides caviar, what humans use beluga sturgeon for?
Even the air bladder can be extremely valuable, as it is one of the ingredients of the expensive beer and wine.
Now that we've seen motives, I want to ask how and when do fishermen capture beluga?
Before the beluga sturgeon travels upriver to spawn, fishermen wait at river mouths to catch them.
How about the future of this amazing fish? Is there anything humans are doing to help its population rebound?
Well, in this beluga sturgeon farm in Florida, some eggs are used to make babies. The eggs are removed from the living fish using a process called stripping. These eggs are a huge contribution to the repopulation effort.
However, it takes time. It takes up to 5 years for a baby beluga fish to grow up to determine its gender. A female would start producing eggs around the age of 10. Plus, the maintenance for the beluga sturgeon farm is extremely expensive. The fish are fed 3 times a day, which causes around $40,000 per month. The amount of time and its rarity are both factors contributing to the caviar's expensive prices.
Thank you for taking this time to learn about the beluga sturgeon.